Do we agree? Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everyone. My name is Lenny Ryan. I've been working with Research4Life. This is the 19th year. So I get the honor of introducing the speakers, and this will be very brief because we have a full program with incredible information that'll be most useful to you. So let me start. Welcome to all of you. Some of you, it may be late, some of you midday, some of you the morning. Thank you for joining us. The video and presentations will be made available after the webinar to all the registered individuals. So don't worry about that too much, okay? We have three speakers. Edith Horvath will talk about the introduction to Research4Life and GOALI. She's the user and outreach librarian at the International Library Organization, ILO, and she's working in the area of information services, research assistance, capacity development, and communication. And she is the former co-chair of the communication and marketing team, so she's has been very dedicated to Research4Life. Then we have Mike Vanderheyden, who's going to talk about browsing and searching. He's the Associate Director for Scholarly and Research Services at Yale Law School at the Yale University. He teaches legal research and coordinates the support for faculty research and scholarship. So again, we have a very knowledgeable person coming on to talk about browsing and searching. And the third person is Lauren Donahue, and she will be talking about getting published. And she's actually from the publishing world, so we have a nice mix. She's an acquisitions editor, international law at Brill, Nijhoff. She's responsible for journals, books, reference works, and that databases at Brill. Okay, and she works. Nijhoff works in all these different fields of public health, including international health law and public health international law. So she is knowledgeable of the material that would be useful to you and talk about how to get published. I think that's enough for me, and I want to turn it over to Edith, who will start with the discussion of Research4Life. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see even more people sign on in the next 5 minutes.
Thank you, Lenny, for the nice introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Edith Horvath, and I work for the ILO. And I will give you a brief introduction about Research4Life and GOALI. So Research4Life provides researchers in low and middle income countries with online access to peer-reviewed and academic content. So we do this with the aim to build an inclusive, diverse, and equitable scholarly communication environment. Our aim is to significantly increase the participation of researchers from lower income countries in the global research community, both as content producer, but also as content consumers. So we do this by delivering free or low-cost online access to academic and professional peer-reviewed content, but also user-focused training and resources to researchers in lower-income countries. And by doing this, we contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, like to the Partnerships for Goals, reduced inequalities, quality educations, and several more. So what is GOALI? GOALI is a collection in Research4Life. It's a collection of academic and peer-reviewed journals, publications, and databases on law and social scientists. So we can say that GOALI is the world's largest curated collection on law and social sciences, but it also incorporates other disciplines such as politics, economics, philosophy, or history. GOALI provides at the moment access to more than 13,000 resources from 125 publishers such as Brill, Oxford, Taylor and Francis, Sage, Elsevier's, and many others. So what does GOALI offer? We offer access to 2,000 peer-reviewed journals, 11,000 books, 45 reference resources from more than 100 publishers. Who can use GOALI? So anybody who is already registered to the Research4Life platform can use, but others are also eligible. Mainly, so the access is provided through institutions, public and non-profit institutions are eligible to join. For example, universities, law schools, government offices, ministries, parliamentaries, judiciary systems, courts, law enforcement, research institutes, NGOs, and libraries. The access is provided by country. So at the moment, 125 countries are eligible to join. Low-income countries enjoy free access, while lower middle-income countries have low-cost access to the Research4Life platform and to GOALI resources. So when would you use GOALI? So if we speak about the legal resources, strictly about the legal resources, is generally better for commentary or secondary resources. So it means that you can check books, book chapters, journal articles about legal situation in a country or on other subject fields. It is good for researchers, but also for policymakers or judges for producing policy, scholarship, or just learning. GOALI is especially good for cross-disciplinary studies, which involves other Research4Life modules like agriculture, health, environmental law, or such subjects. When GOALI might not be the source to start with, so primary source law. So we provide access to some legal databases, but they are not so comprehensive. So like the original national legislation, if I'm looking for original national legislation, this GOALI wouldn't be the first stop to start with. Be sure to check what your country and institution have access to. But even if you don't have access, I mean full text, or you cannot log in, you can still search the GOALI collection, and as a starting point of your research, we have a lot of open access journals, books, and others. What else does GOALI have? We give access to some great law databases, just to name a few. Oxford Public International Law, Jus Mundi, China Law Info, and we are always looking for more. So if we are always would like to invite more publishers to join the initiative. So we hope that in the future we can provide access to more databases or resources. So you can find information on the Research4Life website, especially how to get access, how to register, how to log in. There is also another website about GOALI, or please write to goali@ilo.org, and we are happy to reply. I don't know if anybody has any question. I am happy to reply about access. I stop sharing. Okay. If I don't have any question, maybe in the chat. Okay, then I give the floor to Mike.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Vanderhayden. Just give me a second while I share my screen. Okay, hopefully we see the next slide with my mugshot there. Okay, so I am going to be speaking with you all for the next 20 minutes or so about leveraging GOALI, specifically the GOALI content on Research4Life for your scholarship. GOALI can help you at many points, in the process of research, writing, and publishing your work. The most obvious example, of course, is in the research, finding articles on a particular subject you want to write about. But even before you've settled on a subject, the content and organization of GOALI can aid in the creative process. It can also be a resource when you're considering which journals to submit to. And GOALI can also help when you're ready to share a draft of your work before it's published. So yes, I will be reviewing how to use GOALI for research, browsing, searching across collections. But I also will try to point out some of these other uses for GOALI in the process. All right, so let's start with browsing. Why do we browse? I'm sorry if this sounds a little basic, but I still find like the idea of browsing and creativity interesting. Although browsing sources isn't the same, browsing the sources on GOALI isn't quite the same as a thoughtful walk through the stacks or bookshelves at your library or maybe a bookstore or something. The search filters available in GOALI can do more than simply, refining a search query after the fact. These filters can help you identify relevant journals. If you can isolate journals by subject area, which is one of the filters available in GOALI, then you can browse GOALI to identify those journals that might publish on topics that are of interest to you and relevant to your own scholarship. Survey the scholarly landscape. So what the heck is scholarly landscape? Sorry, that's imprecise language, but all I mean is that through browsing, you can get a sense of what people in your discipline or specific area of interest are writing about. In GOALI, this requires, again, browsing to a journal, perhaps by a specific subject like criminal law or environmental law, and then opening up the journal, virtually looking at the journal on the publisher website and browsing through the contents. So these are very analogous to, sometimes there are very analogous functionalities provided from the print to the digital. Refine your research. All right. So in this point, I don't mean refining your search, as you do in a search where you use those filters to hone in on specific content, specific articles that you're trying to find. Rather, let's say you have a few articles that you've already found. Going to that publisher's website and using those publisher features to find related articles. I'll show you what I mean by that in a few minutes. Yeah, and then finally, I just want to say that browsing supports. I think browsing does support scholarly creativity. Again, there's that analogy to browsing the bookshelves of a organized collection. When you do that in a library setting or something, it can kind of serendipitously lead you to sources that you hadn't planned to find, which in turn can lead you to ideas that you hadn't planned to think. I think it's kind of intuitive that browsing does this, kind of like boredom supports creativity too. Not that browsing is boring, of course, but yeah, there I'm sure some scholarship on this idea of the connection between browsing and scholarly creativity. All right, let's go to the next slide. So now I'm starting at the Research4Life welcome page. We want to browse to GOALI as a very basic example. You can see that at the top of and I'm using screenshots just to account for any possible technical difficulties doing a live demonstration. So I hope this works okay for everybody. So at the top of the Research4Life home screen, we see the two main options for browsing, either by content or collections. If we click on collections, we see the GOALI collection available here. So if we click on this drop-down menu and then click on GOALI, we get into the actual focused collection of GOALI. And you can see once you're in GOALI that there are the filters on the left-hand side here, which we can use to browse the content. These filters include access type, so is it free or is it provided by one of the information providers, which are publishers? What type of collection is it in GOALI or Hanari or one of the others? Content type. For most of my presentation, I'm focusing on journals because we're mostly talking about how to publish and thinking about publishing journal articles. So I'm often defaulting to selecting journals just for purposes of this demonstration. And then you can focus on information provider, language, and also subject area. As you make your selections, you can see that your filters will appear above the search results in this blank area right here where we see database selected. All right, so in this screenshot, I've assumed the role of someone who's interested in writing about laws regulating greenhouse gases. And let's say that I wanted to publish somewhere where I could reach the greatest number of people, whether or not they have access to the journal via GOALI. So in my filtering options, I've selected journals, I've selected a subject limitation for environmental law, policy, and planning, and then I've searched that access type. I've selected free, and because my language abilities are pretty limited, I've chosen just English. And so when I make those selections, I see that there are I get nine journals in GOALI in my results, which could sound disappointing, but I have on this right-hand side here just a note. Just to use these filters with your eyes open to how they work and how they might be, possibly too limiting in some cases. For example, in this case, I've asked it to just select journals that are free, freely available. But we know that on publisher websites you often find open access journals, which would not necessarily be identified for purposes of the free filter in GOALI. So that might be a little too limiting. Also, subjects can be imprecise too. This is just like a searching. People kind of know this when they're searching. Subjects can really increase the relevancy of your search results, kind of at the expense of the comprehensiveness. How wide the net is and how much you're catching. So you can imagine that there might be journals that aren't specialty environmental law journals, which would be possibly interested in an article about the regulation of greenhouse gases. And so those more general purpose law journals would not necessarily be scooped up in this search that I've done here. All right. Back to the Research4Life welcome page. We could have also browsed by content categories. We see those here. So we have journals, books, reference sources, databases, free collections, information providers, recent resources, and subjects. Let's imagine, for purposes again of this demonstration, that we had just listened to a presentation by say the acquisitions editor at Brill and wanted to identify other law journals published by Brill and available on GOALI. So in this example, I click on content, I click on information providers, which would then give me another screen with a list of all the information providers arranged by in alphabetical order, and I see Brill listed here. So let's imagine I click on Brill, which brings me now again to a site that looks very familiar. I have then further decided to browse by just or filter it by GOALI content. So looking at the law and social science materials published by Brill, and then further limit it to just their law journals. So then I have a alphabetical list of 50 odd of journals provided to us through Research4Life by Brill. And then you can click on, say, I click on Arab Law Quarterly right here. When I do that, that then shoots me out, brings me directly to the publisher website. Then once you're on the publisher website, there's a whole other universe of browsing options that are available to you. So this is the Arab Law Quarterly. This is how it looks on the Brill. We're now on the publisher website here. This slide is a little bit of a repeat of my first slide. It's just a reminder that there are tools on many publisher websites to enable you to extend your own research, identify related scholarship, and sometimes they will assist you in identifying relevant journals to submit your own publication to. These features really vary across publisher platforms and are not necessarily all universally available. However, almost universally is the ability to navigate content on publisher on this, I'm going to call it the platform view as opposed to the article view when you're looking at a very specific article. This is an example of the platform view on the Edward Elgar Online publisher platform. There are usually features to allow you to focus in on a particular content type. In this case, I'm looking at journal content on Elgar Online. You can also usually make some kind of selection for subject, and in this case, I've selected environment and an access type. In this case, all access, all available, content. And then to compare, I guess, we see this is the Taylor and Francis publisher platform. Again, another contributor to Research4Life content. We see the filters on the left-hand side. And then this is interesting. Sometimes you see this, sometimes you don't. But we see that that Taylor and Francis is providing a prompt for potential authors to try something they call the journal suggester. You submit an author would submit an abstract to Taylor and Francis, and looks like through some AI tool they try to match you up with a relevant journal that they publish. So you sometimes see these helpful hints for potential authors. All right, now once you are now we're going from the publisher platform view to the author. I'm sorry, the article view of the publisher platform. Once you're in this article view, there are often very many more options for browsing the content. Here in this example, we're looking at an article from the journal Artificial Intelligence and the Law. It's published by Springer Nature. We can see that we can click on these authors here. That would give us a list of other work by that author and available on the Springer platform. Let's see. We also see another link to to information about this particular journal, the aims and scope, and then how to submit your manuscript to this journal. So that's very kind of them. You see that once in a while. Let's see, if we were to scroll down in this, again, I'm not doing a live demo, but if we were to scroll down, we would see that you could browse this article by section of the article. You go all the way down to the references, the works cited by these authors. Often these lists of works cited will link you to link external links out to possibly free versions of the article, whether on Google Scholar or you might get a digital object identifier, one of those persistent links to the article. And then on this right-hand side, this is just to demonstrate that, you know, these features, these browsing features, I call them, are very, 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 they vary from platform to platform. If we go to Brill and Elgar, if we were looking at an article on those platforms, we could see that you could browse from one article and then click on the subjects assigned to that article to find other articles related, you know, on that same subject. So that can be very helpful in your research as well. Same with keywords. What is Wiley? Wiley does something a little different. I mean, they do the same thing, but then they also provide links to articles that cite the article you're looking at, which also can be very helpful for extending your research out. Let's see. So I think that's what I'm going to say about browsing for now. Let's shift from browsing to searching and searching GOALI content specifically. So if we were on the GOALI collection page, there is a shortcut to doing a full text search. There's this little bar, little search field right here, and I've entered a phrase, you know, it's in quotes, anti-power politics, and I wanted to find, let's say I'm doing a search on GOALI for that. Well, I should say this, I want to just provide some tips. This is how I would do a search on GOALI. So tip number one, actually, for searching GOALI is to maybe not search GOALI. Because when I do a search on GOALI, I've done this a few times, I get some kind of inconsistent results. And in this case, I found 0 results for that search of anti-power politics. No articles came up. Instead, I very strongly recommend using the Research4Life advanced search, which is the summon-powered search across content. And I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. But it's a much better alternative to searching directly within GOALI. So when I do a search for anti-power politics or that exact phrase in Research4Life's advanced search, I get eight articles, and one of the top result has that exact phrase in the actual article title. So not a very seemingly not a very difficult search to run, but GOALI didn't find it. So that's my first search tip. My second search tip is really just to remember the first search tip, which is use Research4Life advanced search. All right, so how do you get to this? Right, let's go back to this welcome page for Research4Life. The advanced search link is right here. I use that. I mean, you could start right away and do a kind of keyword search right here, and then you could always filter those results after the fact. But for this example, let's click on the advanced search, and this is the search form that we see. You can search the full text up here across many different fields. In this example, I have not selected any of the fields, but if we clicked on the drop down, you would see, you know, you could search fields such as the article title or the publication title, maybe the author or the abstract or the full text. So you can specify what content you want your search to appear in, your search terms to appear in. All right, so these search fields support Boolean connectors. I'm using truncation here, so I'm searching in this case for any form of the word migration, or same thing, immigration, immigrating, and refugee. So any form of these words, this little asterisk is what's called a truncator. So it finds various forms of a word. All right. And what else did I do? Oh, and then I also selected for content type. I'm focusing for this demonstration on journals. So I've selected journal articles, and then discipline again here. I've selected law, and you can see those selections, how I've filtered it. Those appear at the bottom of the search form. So when I do that, I've gotten 586 articles, which is just great. I mean, I'm happy to have so many articles, but maybe I would want to, maybe focus it a little more. I can do that. I can further refine it. This time I'm using these filters for kind of focusing in on the content I want, rather than just browsing, as I was demonstrating earlier. So I can use these to refine by these criteria over here. Those appear, on the left-hand side. I could do that in this example. I'm choosing to edit the search, and you can edit the search either within this box up at the top, or if you click on the options link in the top right-hand side, next to this search bar, I click on that right there. That'll bring me back to my search form. And to kind of increase the relevancy of my results, I'm going to make sure that these phrases, these terms appear not, anywhere in the metadata. I'm just going to ask it to appear in an abstract, hoping that increases the relevancy a little bit, but also knowing that that'll have an effect on the comprehensiveness of my results, because I'm just looking at the abstract terms, the words in the abstract. All right. So that is my spiel on browsing and searching in GOALI. I just want to spend a little bit more time talking about something in the databases section. It's called Law Archive. If you go to GOALI and you look at the databases, you'll see Law Archive listed here. And I wanted to highlight this because there are features in Law Archive, to do what we're already doing, searching for other articles. But there are some collaborative features, and then you can also use Law Archive to share your work. So Law Archive, just if this sounds like a plug, it probably is a plug a little bit, because Law Archive is a service. It's a collaboration between Yale University Law Library and the Center for Open Science. The Center for Open Science provides the framework, the infrastructure for a host of other preprint collections, some of which you might be familiar with. This is a list of those preprint collections. This is a completely free service for scholars to share their scholarship with others around the world. It's not affiliated with any large multinational companies, right? It's the Center for Open Science and Yale Law School are certainly not harvesting usage data, to develop any, future products. It's just a service that is provided to help scholars share their work. So anyway, here's where Law Archive is. If you're in GOALI, you click on this link to Law Archive, and it brings up the Law Archive website here, from which you can search for other articles directly in this search box. You can share your scholarship by submitting a paper. You can also create spaces called projects, and what it sounds like. It's an area where you can work collaboratively with other people, maybe in other countries or institutions, on a research or scholarly initiative. And if you want to, publicly share data sets or any supporting documents or materials that are relevant to the article that you are writing. All right, so let's cover the first point, which is using Law Archive to search. If you were searching, you could begin a search query directly in this box that you see in the middle of the screen. I tend to go to the search form. I like to see those filtering options. You could do that if you click on the magnifying glass that you see on the left. So in this example, we see kind of like a result for the search. In this case, this is a mistake. I meant to search class action as a phrase. So class action as a phrase, you can, your search terms are here. I also use some of the filters. You can again filter, limit to a particular law subject area. In this case, religion and law is what I chose. And then because I wanted to demonstrate what these project spaces look like, I chose a filter which focuses in on articles that, for which the authors have created a supplemental space for data sets and that type of thing. And then, so these are the results. I got 39 results. And if I click on this particular paper, that brings us to the article view, where we see, a PDF, which is downloadable, or you can just read it online in the left-hand pane over here. And then all the metadata about all the data about the article appears in this right-hand column. When we see here a heading for supplemental materials. If we click on supplemental materials right here, that brings us to the project page associated with that article. So this is the collaborative aspect to Law Archive. The authors of this work have created this page. Maybe, I don't know them, but I imagine that they had this project page, and they could have used it, initially to share information and data between the two of them as a kind of a workspace. And then at some point they've decided to make it public. So they have marked it as a publicly accessible project, which is great for us because we can click on the Files tab here, and that gives us the actual supplemental materials that they've decided to share, including the data sets that they use in their analysis in writing the actual article that we see in Law Archive. So that's a neat feature of Law Archive, and something that you don't see in other preprint services like SSRN, for example. Okay, and then finally, and importantly, and maybe a kind of like a transition to the next to Lauren's discussion, you can use Law Archive. Once you're ready to share a draft of your work, you can submit a paper through Law Archive and share it on this platform. Again, this is all free. The only thing you need to do is sign up, and you sign up here, and then if you submit a paper, then you get there's a 5-step form to fill out. You upload your paper, you describe it, and then it's sent to me and to another moderator, and we just really make sure that it's about, it's on the subject of law. That's one requirement for Law Archive, that it's on law, that it is a scholarly paper, which is really a low bar. It's not as, you were just making sure it's not like a news article or a poster. And then, unfortunately, right now it has to be in English because we have very limited language abilities. Hopefully, in the future, as we build out our capacity, we can add other moderators from other jurisdictions and who have language abilities to incorporate other foreign language papers. All right, so that is what I have to say, but I am happy to take questions now. You can also send me questions directly. I'm not hard to find. If you just Google my name and Yale, you'll find my email address pretty quickly.
Yeah. Michael,
Yes.
There was a question about searching for artificial intelligence, and Edith has a comment about one of the other questions that we have received.
Oh, great.
So I think it'd be, Edith, why don't you go ahead and answer that technical question?
Yeah, can I share my screen? And then, because in the background, okay, I did some search. So I just to go through the question. So do we have like French articles? So either you can browse, I mean, when you browse the GOALI database, you can select French language for journals. And I think you will see some, but not so many. But for example, and let me, voila. But when you go to the advanced search and you search for example, sécurité sociale, mon problème parce que j'ai pas, I didn't, so my spelling. So you will find quite a lot of articles in French. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's the GOALI database is predominantly English, but still we have other kind of articles. And for law on artificial intelligence, so as I mentioned, it's I mean, the GOALI is not a good starting point for a primary laws from national laws. On the other hand, you will find a lot of articles. I mean. Yep, so a lot of articles on these topics. For example, in this search, so I just searched for artificial intelligence, and I limited my search for subject type like law. So this is the results I got. Yeah. And also there was another question whether we can use Boolean operators. And here I just made the same search like artificial intelligence and law or legal. And then we have much more. I mean, here I didn't limit my search to subject or disciplines areas like law, but yeah, we have quite a lot of publications. And also, if you, for example, in advanced search, you specify that you search in a title on artificial intelligence, you will find also almost 75,000 results. Maybe the others are not, I mean, the end of the search results is not so relevant, but still, I mean, artificial intelligence in supply chain management, systematic literature review. Wow. So you see that there are a lot of, really a lot of content available in GOALI.
Yeah.
So I stop sharing. I don't know if there is any question.
Enid, I just wanted to add one little thing. When you are in Summon looking for French material, there is a French interface.
Ah, yes, indeed.
Yes, so you can have all your commands. It's not perfect, but you can have all your results commands listed with French language. So that may be helpful too.
Yeah, there is another question that can I publish in Research4Life? So no, but Lori will explain. So Research4Life is basically an aggregator, or how do you say, a collection of publishers' content. So, but you can publish in publishers' journal. So, and this is our next topic. I don't know if there is another question. Are the resources also, this is also an Agora? Yes, I mean, in Research4Life, we have several collections, and some resources are available in Agora, in other collections, and in Salmon Search, basically you will find everything. So, yeah. I think we can start the third part, which is Lori.
Great, thank you. It was perfect because I could share my screen while you were still talking. So thank you for that. Hi, everyone. Oops, I went too fast. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren. I'm really happy to be here. So thanks for having me. I'm an acquisitions editor for Brill. I'll just, I love to see in the chat where everybody's calling in from. I'm calling in from Leiden in the Netherlands. Just very quickly, some background about the company that I'm working for. I work for Brill, and we recently joined forces with De Gruyter, a German family-owned company based in Berlin, but also an international academic publisher. On the Brill side, we've been established since 1683, so very long history. And together, the combined we publish about 3,500 new books every year and 800 journals a year. And in addition to that, online resources, primary sources, bibliographies, etc. We publish in a broad range of subject areas in the humanities, social sciences. I'm part of the international law group. So why publish? Certainly from the author's point of view, it's necessary. It's a necessary part of the research process. It's important for your career development in academia. But ultimately, we want to present new and original research to the world, to rationalize or refine, reinterpret published research, could be to review the field or to summarize a particular subject area, such as in review articles. But really, we're talking about what advances the established knowledge and understanding in a particular research field. And what we don't want to publish are duplications of previously published work or what we would consider perhaps incorrect or unacceptable conclusions according to the scientific research process. So I'll just really briefly go through the differences between submitting an article to a journal and submitting a book proposal. I'm really focusing in this presentation on journals, but just to really quickly point out the differences between the two. When you're submitting a manuscript to a journal, that manuscript submission is going to be evaluated by the editor-in-chief, the managing editor, the editorial board of that journal. So they're going to look at that submission and decide, is this within the scope of the journal? Is it interesting, original? Is it meeting our kind of quality requirements? And if the answer is yes, then that manuscript will move on to the peer review process. If instead the topic is out of scope of the journal, if it's, it could also be that that particular topic was just in the previously published issue of the journal, they may reject that manuscript. But that's a moment when you can take that feedback and move on to the next journal that you're interested in submitting to. When you're submitting a book proposal, the acquisitions editor at the publisher is the one who's going to do that initial evaluation before sending it on to, say, a series editor or an external reviewer for peer review. So what is peer review? Peer review is really the academic system for vetting quality and relevance of academic publications. It's a process that's used to determine if your findings comply with the standards of a particular research field. It's often conducted on a double-blind basis, which means the reviewers don't know the identity of the author, and the author doesn't know the identity of the peer reviewer. Typically, the turnaround time, we aim for 4 to 6 weeks for a journal article, but it can really vary depending on the journal, depending on the availability of peer reviewers. That's one of the most difficult things, I think, these days, because people are really busy and it's sometimes difficult to get a peer review response in the time frame you would like. When you're looking to decide on which journal to submit to, you really want to familiarize yourself with the aims and scope of your target journals, so that the aims and scope are going to describe to you, what kind of research is this journal publishing. You can find that on individual journal websites. You want to think about what the readership is, what is the journal's reputation in the field, who is the editor, who is on the editorial board, who publishes in the journal, who is the publisher? Is it a publisher? Is it a society or an association? Is it local? Is it national? Is it international? And that's going to be important for you to determine, who is going to be reading it. And also perhaps what language are you going to be writing in? Is it peer reviewed? How long does that process take? Very often you can see in the metadata of published articles when the paper was submitted and when it was published. That can give you a sense of how long that process can take. Is it indexed? How often is it cited? Is it online only? Is there a print version available? Is that important to you? And are there author services like copy editing that you can take advantage of? Here I've highlighted some of our journals in different topics within international law, just to give you a sense of what we do, but you can find all of our journals on our website. But of course, you want to look broader than just the journals that we publish. So really look at the journals in your field that fit your research. This is kind of a breakdown of the journal article submission process, or at least what you should be thinking about when you're ready to submit. So again, you want to choose the journal that really fits your topic. Look at the instructions for authors. They are available on the individual journal websites. They will explain the requirements. They will explain what kind of articles they accept, how long certain pieces should be. And you want to prepare your article, your manuscript, with those guidelines in mind. There may be a particular reference style, things like that. You will make the editor's life a little bit easier if you can follow those instructions. Typically, there's an online submission system, but those instructions will also tell you how to submit. Generally speaking, the practice is to submit to one journal and wait for the outcome. Even though it can take some time to get a decision, you really want to submit to one journal and wait to see what the outcome is before you submit to another journal. And really the reason is because if your article advances into peer review, the editors are asking experts in the field to review your manuscript. Typically, they're going to have at least two review reports per article. And that's a significant time investment for experts in the field. So you want to make sure that they don't go through that process and then you're deciding to publish in a different journal. Again, you want to make sure you submit to the journal and not to the acquisitions editor at the publisher. And every now and then I do get journal article submissions. I can route them to the right place, but generally speaking, you want to stick to the instructions for that particular journal. Just a word on publication ethics. We have a really thorough publication ethics policy that's available on our website, and all other publishers will have a very similar statement like this. So it really explains the kinds of things to keep in mind. You want to make sure that you properly cite your sources. If you are, let's say you've published an article in a non-English language, and now you want to publish that piece or a revised version of that piece in English, it's important that you cite that original publication, things like that. And when you're manuscript is accepted for publication, we will ask you to sign a license agreement where you also include acceptance of those publication ethics. We have a publication ethics committee that we rely on in cases of, plagiarism, censorship, provenance, claims, things like that, as other publishers do as well. And that's really it from me. But you're more than welcome to reach out to me via email or on LinkedIn. I do have a Blue Sky account. I'm not always active, but I'm trying to be. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me with questions. And I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Lauren, for the nice presentation. Do we have any question to Lauren?
Edith, there was that question about searching in Agora or not, and maybe we should talk a little about that. I think we both answered it. And there's a difference between, if you're searching in Summon, you can be in Agora, Aware, or the general 5 collection database, and you get all the results. If you go in and limit either directly to Agora, or you limit a search in the general database to Agora, it's going to limit it to the health related, or in this case, the GOALI resources. So maybe Edith, do you want to show something about that?
Yeah, so okay, just to make sure that, so this is the platform. So when we say that it's a technical term, the librarians jargon, but so when we say that search someone, that this basically this search field, and then here, as you see, you search across all Research4Life. And then if you click here, then you will have like the advanced search platform, where you can choose to search in fields, or we have the Boolean operators and the others. So for example, if I search, okay, artificial intelligence, I will search just a very simple search. So I will search with all the collections. So you will find, okay, legal resources, but maybe you will find also, for example, maybe on computer sciences. Yes, so you will find marketing, business ethics, a lot of things.
But
clinical oncology, so it's really artificial intelligence in digital pathology. So you will find results from all kinds of subjects and disciplines. And
but you could go into Summon from Agora or Arty, and it will search everything. It does not limit it to a collection.
Yeah.
You would have to add further limits in the keyword search, or use it as Edith was saying, use the advanced search. We have a question, and I'm not exactly sure how to answer it. Please, on the issue of downloading with our students, how can we limit their downloading so we, as we are the registered institution, doesn't get in trouble? I think that it usually does not seem to be a problem unless someone is using a robot or something to extract, like, a whole series of articles from multiple journals and to build a kind of separate database. But I've not really remember many problems about students downloading and limiting it. But I'm not sure. There may be individuals who have had different experiences, and maybe they could add a comment to the question and answer. It's up to you. I don't know if that helps too much. Dimensions database, does it harvest? Ooh, I lost that one. I was looking at that question. Ooh. Dimensions, does it harvest content from all databases in Research4Life when searching? Yes, I would think so. I think that it would not be, Dimensions database would not limit it to Agora. What you're doing is you're opening up a different database through Agora or through Arty, and it's still going to look at all the material that Research4Life has. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a question. Yeah, there's a question if does Research4Life provide access to Usemundi? Yes. I start to share my screen and let me try to how we should go. Okay, I have too many screens. Okay, and then for example, if we go to databases, it should be there, Usemundi. So that the browsing is a little bit slow. Yep, and
there it is.
no, maybe it's with E. It's not there, but I think it should be. Normally we have Usemundi. No. Yeah,
that should be there.
It should be there. I don't know why it's not there. Okay, so I think we have access to Usemundi, but I am not sure where.
It might be a reference source, yes.
Okay, I'm in
It
the
might not be a
reference.
database. Try
If
in a
it's
reference source.
source.
Sometimes that's tricky, and I don't, even after all these years, I don't. There we
Usemundi,
go.
voilà, as a reference
Okay.
source. Yeah.
We feel better now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
we have access to Usemundi.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Yeah, there was another question whether you can publish in GOALI on Agora. Well, not because yeah, we are an aggregator, content aggregator from publishers. And how can you increase your visibility? I mean, it's really up to the publishers, which database, which journals, which articles they make accessible through Research4Life. So one option is that if you publish in open access journals, which is listed in DAOJ, the Director of Open Access Journals, then this journal will be, or this article will be automatically listed in Research4Life.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Edith. We might want to look at that last question. How to enter the platform? Are there conditions? I'm not sure what conditions means, but generally everybody has the same ability to enter the platform and use the resources. I'm not sure what that means.
The platform, normally everybody can enter, but for the full text access, you have to be a registered user. And the registration is normally through institutions. So you can ask your librarian whether you are eligible or whether they have already registered. A lot of universities have already registered. If not, you can ask your librarian, your administrator to get registered. So these are the conditions.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. You will not get individual registration. You have to go through the institution. And we always tell people to go to the library and ask for the username and password there. Many years ago, the librarians didn't want to give them out, but I think we've over the years, we've solved that problem. And some universities link it to their IP addresses, so it's much easier to access.
Yeah, and so if you have like federated login, or how do they call it? I have a federated authentication through the IP address, then you can get access from your computer. But this is, I mean, your librarian can answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some institutions have done that, and it makes it much easier for the users to access. I think if I'm to sum something up from what Michael said is you have to go into Research4Life. You have to learn how to use what we call the Unified Content Portal, which will give you journals or books by subject and things like that. And then the keyword searching is critical. As Edith was doing it, you could see the number of artificial intelligence articles was white high, what was it, 75,000? And then you could limit that search more. So the key is to, may I use it directly from your computer? Yes. Individuals with their own computer can log in. You don't have to go to the computer lab or the library at your institution. Okay. Yes.
As
And we
a,
have any other general questions here?
yeah, maybe the issue of downloading with student, I think that please write to the help desk. There is an Research4Life help desk, and they can provide it you with answers.
Yeah, there are some guidelines such as you cannot download all the chapters of a book or all the articles in one from one journal issue. But generally, if you're doing research and you find relevant articles, there should not, or book chapters, book chapters are in some, and there should not be a problem with downloading. If you have a problem, go to the help desk. And maybe quickly I can put the email address of the help desk in if I can remember it.
When you
Okay.
open the GOALI page, what are those alphabets for? So if I share again my screen.
Yeah, I'll
where's the
put the help desk address in chat. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, just going there. Maybe the list of like really the alphabet, let's A, B, C, is like you can, for example, when you browse, then you can go directly to the O. I mean, it's very old fashioned browsing, but it's still, yeah. If this is
Yeah.
what you meant about the alphabets.
Okay, but you are looking for the legal information within the Unified Content Portal here, correct? That's the way I look at it. By going to one of the collections,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
limit
if
the
you go,
search to one of the collections. Yes.
yeah.
Michael, you have anything to add about our searching here?
No, you know, you have a lot more experience actually in searching than I do. Kind of, I have to admit that I've been doing this for about a year.
No.
So I'm glad I'm on the right
Okay.
track.
Well, we'd like to thank the presenters and thank all of you for staying with us for an hour plus. As I said at the beginning, we will send to all the people registered, we'll send the link to the video and also the presentations, hopefully within a week, but sometimes it takes longer. We appreciate it. Edith spent a lot of time getting this organized, and there were delays, and we really appreciate the work she has done on this. And thank you to Lauren and Michael for presenting. Any quick questions? If not, I think we can end this session. We appreciate everyone's taking the time to learn more about the legal information resources and how to publish.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, really.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.